Hey folks, this is activity number 1 in the week 3 of Winter 26 CAD course using Catia V5. The plan is to use Boolean operation in order to make a mold, design a mold for uh, a batch of parts to be injection molded like that. Now, generally speaking, injection molding design is for designing the mold is more complicated than this. For example, here is a good example that you want to make a part like that, a mold for a part like that. You can see that it's a lot more complicated than a bunch of these things. But and there are many ways of doing these. In fact, in the class, I might have shown you a more straightforward way of doing it, but I prefer to go that route. I want to show you in doing this tutorial how to use the copy and then paste special, and as a result with the link. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Dimensions are not important here, so let me go ahead and first thing I'm going to do, insert a body. And I'm going to call this thing body. Let me call this thing original. I'll call it original part to be molded. Okay. And I'm going to make it in a minute, but I'll do another body, insert another body. And I'm going to call this thing original block, mold block. So we call it original mold small block. All right. So let me first go ahead and make the part to be molded. So what I'm going to do is to put the cursor here, right click, define in-work object. And now whatever I do is going to go into this body. So the way I'm going to do that, on that horizontal plane, I'm going to draw a circle. This is one of those cylinders. A circle like that. Exit. I'll pad it. And I'll make it mirror extent. And maybe I'll make it 10 so that it's a little bit more civilized. And then what I want to do is to make a rectangular pattern of 4 of these. So click on the rectangular pattern. We want 4 of them in the direction, let's say X. But I want the distance to be a little bit bigger. And then we say, okay. So what I have done here, this is my original part we molded. I have created basically these for you. All right. Now I'm going to do to the original mold block. So right click, defining work object, or whatever I do is going to be in that body. So for example, I select this this plane, this vertical plane, sketch on it. I'll draw a rectangle like so. Let me make it a little bit longer. All right, exit. And then I'm going to pad it. I can do a mirror extent. So let me see what happens here. Basically, I want to cover all of these. Yep, that's good. And then you say, okay. And if you want a gate here, a gate for basically sending resin through it. So on that on that plane, I will sketch maybe a little circle. This is going to be the gate, and then I'm going to pocket it. Let me make this thing longer. Yeah, perhaps there. Now, so what I've done is the original part to be molded, it's these four pieces, and the original mold block, which is right here, except that, you can hide this and you can see that we don't actually have the mold here. Okay, we have to make it. So let me show it to you again. What I'm going to do is copy this, copy the original part to be molded, copy it, and go to the part, right click, paste special, and make sure you select the as a result with link, say OK. Good, right there. Now do exactly the same thing with this other film. So right click, this is the original mold block, right click, copy. I go all the way to the top, to the part, right click, paste special, as a result with link. There we are. Okay. So notice that these basically are the same thing. You might say, why did you do that? Well, you'll see. I want to do a Boolean operation. And basically, I don't want to fool around with the first two, which are the original one. These, I can play with it. And in fact, if it's confusing for you, I can change the name of it. Instead of saying original, I say copy, copied. Okay. And here, right click properties, instead of original, I say copy, so that you can see that there's a difference. All right, good. So I click on the add, but I don't want to add, I want to remove. So you go to Boolean operation, under the remove. Look at what it says. Remove what? I want to remove the part to be molded from the thing after it, which is copy of the mold block. And then we say OK. So now look what happened. Look what happened. If I hide, for example, if I hide this original part to be model, if I hide this, and if I hide this original mold block, there we are. This is the mold right there. This is the mold. Now, what's the advantage of this business of copying and special paste as a result of the link? If I decide that I want the size of these blocks, these cylindrical blocks to be different, I go to that sketch. Okay, I go to that sketch. And what's blocking my view here is this piece here. So let me hide that. I want to see my circle right there. I want to see this. This is the original part to be modeled. And let's say I want to make it smaller. I'll make it I'll make it bigger. How about making it bigger? Exit. And then if I show my copied mold block, show, you see, it's the right size. If I hide it, there, the size changed. Okay. If I want to make it smaller, I go back to that sketch. I don't want to see this because I can't see my circle. I want to see my original part to be molded. Okay, suppose I make it smaller, like that. Exit. And now if I want to see my designed mold, there we are. Notice it's changed. If I want to change the gate, so let me hide this size of the gate. So I'm going to go to my original mold block. This is where I made the gate, remember? Go to it. Let's hide the stuff that's blocking us. So let me hide this and show the original mold block. There we are. See this? In fact, let's say that instead of a circle, you want to do something else. Instead of a circle, I want to do a rectangular one, or I want to change the size of the circle, maybe a little bit bigger. I made it a little bit bigger, okay? Or I can change this thing to a rectangle. Exit. There we are. And if you want to see the mold block, the copied mold block, this is where the Boolean operation was done. Remember the remove? So I'm going to hide this, but instead show the copied mold block. There. See, the size changed. The size of this gate changed. The advantage of copying these things and then doing a paste special as a result of the link is that you don't have to fool around with the original parts unless you really mean to. Okay, yeah, and of course there is the faster way of doing this thing. Let me close that, but then it's not going to be as versatile as what you see here